This is Mindfulness with Richard Clarke. Listen, reflect, and deeply meditate. One of the strongest habits of the mind is the need to be right. It appears so quickly that we barely notice it. Someone expresses an opinion, remembers an event differently, or criticizes one of our choices. Almost instantly, the mind begins preparing its defense. It searches for evidence, rehearses arguments, and wants the last word. If this interests you, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, and leave a comment about your interests. I would love to hear how mindfulness has changed the way you relate to people in your life. Welcome. This is Richard Clarke. And today I will talk about softening the need to be right. Mindfulness invites you to pause before following the habit, the need to be right. Ask yourself, what is happening inside me right now? You may notice tension in your chest, tightness in your jaw, or quickening of the breath. You may notice thoughts insisting, they don't understand, or I have to make them see my point. These reactions are natural. The mindfulness practice is not to judge them. The practice is to become aware of them within yourself before they take over your words and actions. As we grow older, we carry decades of experience and hard-earned wisdom. That wisdom is valuable, yet wisdom is different from needing to win every conversation. A wise person knows that preserving a relationship is often more valuable than proving a point. This is especially true in families. Adult children make choices we would not make. Grandchildren grow up in a different culture. Friends hold different political or religious views. If every disagreement becomes a battle, peace disappears from the relationship. Mindfulness creates space between the impulse and the response. Instead of interrupting, you listen. Instead of preparing your reply, you become curious. Instead of asking, how can I prove I am right? You begin asking, what is this person experiencing? What do they think and feel? This shift changes everything. Curiosity replaces the need for self-assertion. You discover that listening does not mean agreeing. Kindness does not require surrendering your values. You can hold your own perspective with clarity and still respect another person's experience. Many agreements are fueled by the desire to protect the image we have of ourselves. We want to appear intelligent, capable, informed, or successful. When that image feels threatened, the mind reacts. The greater the threat, the bigger the reaction. Mindfulness gently loosens this attachment. You begin seeing that your identity is not defined by winning an argument. You remain the same person whether someone agrees with you or not. There is surprising freedom in saying, you may be right. There is wisdom in saying, I hadn't thought of it that way. There is peace in allowing another person to have the final word. This doesn't mean becoming passive. There are times when truth matters and clear boundaries are needed. Yet many daily disagreements are simply different viewpoints, different memories, or different preferences. They don't require victory. Each conversation becomes another opportunity to practice awareness. You can you notice your reactions? Can you soften your certainty? Can you choose connection over being right? Often the deepest peace comes when you no longer need to convince anyone of anything. You simply meet each person with presence, kindness, and an open heart. Here's a guided meditation. Before we begin, feel your feet making contact with the floor. Gently look around and notice a few shapes or colors in the room. Now, notice a neutral or pleasant sensation in your body and allow your eyes to close. Bring attention to your breathing. Feel your breath in and out. Let each breath settle the body. Now, bring to mind someone with whom you've had a disagreement. Choose a situation that carries only moderate emotion. With that in mind, notice what happens in your body. Is there tightness? A desire to explain yourself? A wish to defend yourself? Simply observe these reactions without judging them. And ask yourself gently, what am I protecting? What would it feel like to listen without needing to win? What remains if I let go of being right just for these moments? With each breath out, allow a little more softness. And silently repeat, may I meet others with patience. May I listen with an open heart. May wisdom guide my words. And rest quietly for several breaths. And notice that awareness itself has no argument to win. And when you're ready, feel your feet on the floor. Open your eyes gently and carry this openness into your next conversation. Every conversation gives you a choice. You can strengthen the walls of certainty, or you can strengthen the bridge of connection. Mindfulness does not ask you to abandon your wisdom. It invites you to express it with humility, compassion, and genuine curiosity. May your words be gentle, your listening be deep, and may every conversation become another step on the path of peace. So, Barley, how's your meditation been? You're muted?
I had one particularly good session again at a yoga class where we do that savasana at the end for 15 minutes. That's a good one, I think. And then I've been watching your videos and sitting in my chair and hopefully not falling asleep before it's over. It's kind of like an in-between state of rest and almost sleep. So you have to.
Now, when you're in that state, it actually turns out your mind is more open
Oh.
than usual. So that's
Mm.
actually not a bad state
Mhm.
to do this meditation in. And it may let you see things that you wouldn't see otherwise.
Hmm. Well, of course, I do the breathe in and breathe out the whole time.
Right.
So that keeps me,
So you
trying
have
to keep
that
me
anchor
focused.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That, yeah. But your meditation, the talk we had today, that is a huge challenge for me because I'm vegan. So I must have babbled on about being vegan with everybody because everybody at UU knows I'm vegan. So,
Right.
and most people do. So you see, I've talked about it, which is always a challenge because no one ever really agrees with me unless they've gotten the message. So
Hmm.
but I'm trying to always think that I'm just speaking on behalf of the animals because they can't talk. So I
Hmm.
have to be their voice. But I certainly don't disparage people in every conversation, but it's so easy to disparage people.
Hmm.
This vegetarian I know decided that she needed to eat liver because her legs shook at night. And I thought, whoa, that's a stretch to go from vegetarian to. But then I thought, well, if it helps her, I guess she has to do that then. Not everyone,
Hmm.
but
And certainly the principle of harmlessness is a very high principle.
yeah. But I think vegans take it to vegans and what's the other group? The group that doesn't breathe in insects.
Oh,
They
that's
take
the
it to the
Janes.
extreme. Yeah, Janes, yeah. Very few people would agree with Janes and very few people agree with vegans. So that's where we're at.
Hmm. But
But
still, the Jains are a pretty big group in India and
is it?
have been
Huh?
for 1,000 years.
Oh, I didn't think I knew that. A big group, and I'll have to look into that just for
Hmm.
curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yeah.
best thing for me to do is lead by whatever example that is. And then some
Mm-hmm.
people think, oh, maybe that's a good way to go.
But still, in terms of your meditation, the best thing for you to do is be
Mhm.
in a place where your mind is quiet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need that. I've been also reading some sad books about the women in Iran, um,
Mm-hmm.
and that gives me a lump in my throat.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's natural to feel the compassion for others.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Okay.
now we have our video. Our video today, the need to be right.
Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nena. I'm a life transformation coach, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the need to be right. Maybe this is something that you've noticed within yourself, or something that you've noticed is true for a friend or a family member, and hopefully today you'll walk away with a better understanding of why that need might be there and how we can correct it. So firstly, when we have a need to be right, we're really saying that we have a need to appear right, because of course there's no real ultimate truth. Everything is just a matter of perspective and opinion. So we want to appear right to another person, or more specifically, we probably want to look superior to that person, or we want to look knowledgeable in general. And more often than not, when we have a strong need such as this, it's usually rooted in some type of fear. So the fear could be that we are afraid we're going to look stupid, or we are afraid that people don't think that we are knowledgeable, or we are afraid that we are going to look inferior, or we may just have in general this fear of not looking like we are enough or that we are worthy, which is a fear that many of us have, and it can manifest in different ways, and this is one of them. So one of the major problems with having that need to be right all the time is that it really negatively affects our relationships. And of course we can understand why, because when we are having communication with someone that is purely driven by a need for them to appear right all the time, the person that you are communicating with really is never going to feel validated. They're never going to feel that their opinion matters to you. They are never going to feel that they are respected or heard. So this type of relationship usually goes sour very quickly, because it tends to be a one-way street. And also, it's just a turnoff when someone is constantly trying to prove their point, or to appear right all the time. It's certainly not a very appealing personality trait, so it can definitely affect our relationships. And one thing to consider is that when our need to be right is stronger than our need to be caring and loving and respectful of that other person, that is a problem to begin with, because it's going to affect every single relationship we ever have, because relationships are based on the fact that we need to be loving, caring, and respectful. And when that need is so strong that we have to instead be right all the time, whether or not their opinion or their perspective is considered, that is entirely problematic. So what can we do if we feel that this is really a strong need for us? The first thing that we need to do is consider why we need this external validation, because really that's what it is. We need the validation from that other person that we are right, because it's not really the fact that we're right. We wouldn't be happy if we're right, but we're sitting alone in our living room and no one can acknowledge that we're right. Really, the need comes from the fact that we want that person to know that we're right, and that person to acknowledge that we are right and they are wrong. So why do we need this external validation? Why do we really care if they think that we are right or not? And that's really what we need to get to the bottom of. And we have to really be compassionate and loving with ourselves when we do this introspection, because when we have a strong need like this, it not only is based out of fear a lot of times, but it is based out of things that have happened to us in our lifetime, things that have caused us to kind of have this as a defense mechanism, to have this external validation. And if external validation is an issue for you, I'm going to direct you to a video I made about external validation, which will kind of explain why we have that need and what we can do about it. I will link that down in the description box below. But that's really the first step, is, acknowledging that we have this need and getting to the bottom of why this external validation is so important to us. Why do we feel that we can't validate ourselves? Why do we need this from other people? And the second thing that we need to do is develop more effective means of communication where the other people involved in the conversation understand that their perspective really is respected and heard. So that comes down to really learning a new skill in a lot of cases, because when we have that need to be right all the time, we oftentimes aren't even listening to what someone else has to say because we think they're wrong. We think that we are right, and we just kind of want to step over them so they can again hear our opinion. And we kind of feel that the more we stress our opinion or double down on it or repeat our opinion, they are going to sway their own opinion, which is very, very rarely the case, because again, it's just such a turnoff when someone uses this form of communication where they are clearly showing you that they want to be right and that this conversation is not really going to end with any other outcome. So these are the things that we want to consider. And when we consider that and we consider how important the relationship is to us, we can understand that it's really beneficial to us to learn this skill, because we are going to, expand our own horizons by considering other points of view. Because again, let's face it, we're not always going to be right. We can always benefit from learning things from other people and from opening up and considering new perspectives. And when we do that, our world just gets expanded and our relationships really get enhanced, because of course it has to be that two-way street. So just some things to consider today. I truly hope that you found it helpful. If you did, please like this video, share it with someone else who may need to hear this same message today. Also, if you aren't already a subscriber, please go ahead and become one. We definitely want you to stay connected. And I thank you so much for spending time with me today. Have an absolutely amazing day.
And now we're going to have a few minutes of meditation. Mindfulness is present moment attention, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. Fully receive whatever is experienced, then let it go. All right. And we'll close with a chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Okay, have good meditations, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Richard. We're cutting, our volumes are cutting out, so I didn't hear you.
Okay, I hear
Maybe you didn't
too.
hear me.
Okay,
Goodbye.
goodbye.